Sam Logue here for irishboxing.com. Delighted to be joined by the CEO of Matchroom Boxing, Frank Smith. Frank, first of all, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. I feel like we're in assembly.
Yeah.
Like the head teacher, Eddie Hearn's going to say something, going to be up there, on his perch.
Yeah. Where I come from, we didn't have assemblies, man. This would be a little bit too grand for a school in North Dublin.
I'll be honest, I didn't go to a school like this either. So I'm not saying. I'm more saying the chairs. So.
Yeah. Fair enough. Frank, that was some weighing. The atmosphere was kind of building nicely, and then when the main event came out, the Nottingham fans made themselves loud, and you could hear them, Jesus, I'd say, down the road. But the Irish fans made themselves loud as well. It was a spicy weigh-in.
It's going to be mad tomorrow night. I think we're going to probably have 2,500 Irish at least coming over for this. They made enough noise today. As you say, the Nottingham fan base got heavily behind Lee as well. So I think it reminds me a bit of when we did Quick Frampton.
Yeah.
We had so many fly over when that happened, and that was good. It was good, and can't wait for it. It's a massive fight as well, and real 50-50.
Yeah, it's definitely been billed as a 50-50. I mean, I know your man is Lee Wood in the fight, but how do you see that fight kind of playing out? Obviously, Conlan has the amateur pedigree. He's labelled as the boxer in the fight, and Lee is labelled more as the puncher. But obviously, that's a very basic narrative to run with, isn't it? How do you kind of see the fight going, and who do you think nicks it in the end?
I'm not the master tactician, although I look like Ben Davison every now and then. I'm not him.
But you've been around boxing for a long time, mate.
Yeah, but I'm always honest. Like everyone today wants to be an expert at everything. I'm quite happy to say I don't know when a jab should be thrown or a right hand.
Yeah.
Because I'm a promoter. I sit behind a desk. I make shows happen. I put on events, and that's where it gets to. I think once you try and get involved in everything, you realise you're not too good. But
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, exactly. And there's too many of those.
Yeah.
But personally, I think Lee Wood does it. I really like Michael Conlan. I like Jamie. I've known him for years. But I think Lee does it, in my opinion.
Are you guys interested in working with Michael going forward? I mean, he's a big draw, especially at home in Belfast, but anywhere in Ireland he would be a big draw. And he obviously has that star power, especially coming out of the Olympics in 2016. He has that kind of notoriety. He's big in America. Is he a guy that you guys would love to nab up if his contract runs out with Top Rank?
Yeah, look, as you say, he's obviously promoted by Top Rank, but we're always open to working with everyone. So if that means working with Top Rank to do something, we're open to doing it. I think let's see how it goes on Saturday night and go from there. But he's had a great career. He's built a huge following, as we'll see on Saturday. And, I think he's got a lot of big nights ahead of him if he can get the win on Saturday night. So let's see what happens. But fully focused, 100% on this fight. It's a real 50-50 for the two of them, and either man could walk away the winner.
Definitely. Are there any? Is there a standout fight for you on the card? A fight that you just think that's the one, that's the sleeper?
I like the Sandy Ryan fight. She's stepping up really quickly. She's had 3 fights, it's her 4th fight, and she's moving very quickly. And she's not far off from a world title. And she's taken on Farias, who's a great fighter. Been on a number of our shows. I think that's a great fight. I actually think Kevin against Rubio is a really strong fight. And Cully Vasquez, so I might as well just said the whole thing.
Every fight.
And Thomas Carty fight his opponent looks tough.
Yeah.
He looks ripped. He looks like me when I was on the beach in Ibiza a couple of years ago.
It is a funny one. Like I know Thomas, and we were chatting, and then we were chatting to Ed yesterday, and all of a sudden it's like, by the way, this guy is coming to rip up the script, and he has a kind of a dubious record. It's like 1, 2, and 3 draws or something like that, but. Jesus, he looks ready to go. He looks in great nick. Hopefully he's not as good as what everyone's saying.
We'll make for a good fight.
Yeah,
Thomas. I think Thomas wants to challenge himself as well. So, he's ready to go. But it's an exciting card, top to bottom. I missed out Terry Harper as well. She's back. Good to see her back. She looks in great shape as well and in a good place. Nico Leviez. I mean, if I pronounce it wrong, I apologise. But he sold like 450 tickets for his debut.
Crazy.
So, stacked top to bottom. Very excited.
Yeah, it really is a stacked card. The one that pops out to me is Cully Vasquez, obviously for Irish bias as well. But have you guys seen much of Gary Cully, and has there been any interest in signing him? Obviously, he's talking at the press conference about, he's been shouting Eddie's name for a few years. He wants to be signed by Matchroom. What do you make of Gary, and have you seen much of him?
I'll be honest, I've seen bits and pieces, not much, but everyone I speak to in boxing says he is such a talent, and for years and years I've been told, you've got to sign Gary Cully, and Anthony, his manager, has said to me for years, you got to sign Gary Cutler. He's like he's an adopted son.
Yeah.
Like he won't stop shouting about him. So let's see Saturday night. He's got a tough fight against Vasquez. Vasquez came over here, fought Ritz, and decision didn't go his way. Should have done. So he's still in a great, the prime of it, or in a good position in his career. So it's a good test for Gary. It'll be good to see how he gets on.
Absolutely. In terms of being as a promotional outfit, you guys, and again, not to be biased, but it seems like you've kind of taken off and maybe separated yourselves from a lot of the other promotional companies in the world. You're doing a lot, and I think it's the way you see it really is you're hearing fighters saying they want to be signed by Matchroom more and more. What's that like when you're in the position you're in Matchroom Sport and Matchroom Boxing, when you kind of realise that you guys are perhaps leading the way? And talk to me about the position you're in at the moment.
Being completely honest, in my eyes, I don't really view anyone as our competitor now, because there's no one else does it on a global scale. Obviously, we have competitors in individual markets, like the UK. You've got Frank Warren, you've got Wasserman, you've got Boxer, you've got Probellum. But then in the US, you've got Al Heyman and BBC. You've got Top Rank. But there's no one who does it as we do in 10, 15 different markets every year. Yeah. 45 shows. And I think for us, we look at very much what the UFC have done in terms of the brand and growing that brand and building it up to a point where fighters say, I want to be signed with Matchroom. And that's what we wanted to do. Because ultimately, if our brand is big, it means boxing's growing. Yeah. It's natural, and it's only going to benefit the fighters as well. Look, and that's not in any way to talk down like other boxing promoters, because they all do a great job. They all do great shows. But it's just more to say, when you look at it on a global landscape, no one does what we do. And we don't ever want to stop. We're just like, right, what's next?
Take on the world.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's not a real job. We get to travel around. We get to do things like this. There's nothing better than walking out, even to a weigh-in like this, and going, oh, that was impressive. Yeah. And there's not many jobs, that give you that satisfaction. Yeah. So yeah.
Can you talk us through kind of like what you do in the background a little bit? But I think I've watched a lot of interviews that you've done, and I've never really understood fully what exactly you do. And like when you're not on the camera, you're not at a weigh-in, or you're not at a show, what is it? What's your day to day? And even at shows, for example, like I've been told you kind of run the shows. So talk to me about your actual role. Like, what do you actually do?
I've been obviously worked for Eddie for 13 years now, full time. Worked across all a range of sports that we do, and my job is essentially to put on the event. Well, to bring it all together. Yeah. Eddie's the talker. I'm not I can talk sometimes, but Definitely. It's not my area. So he does the talking. We wheel him out. We say, go and have a chat, and then he goes out and creates things, comes up with a million ideas, and we have to try and make them happen. But we got a good team. We got like close to 35 people now in our boxing department. And we're putting on shows weekly. So my job is really running that day to day, running the business side of it. The finances across the board. Everything that you see that's put in place, I have some kind of. I don't do it, but I have some kind of involvement in it. Yeah. It's good. It's good. My thing is I get compared to Eddie. So, look, I think someone asked me recently, why don't you go and do it on your own? It's like, we've grown up together. So we're like, these aren't my big brother. Yeah. But no one is better than him at what he does. Yeah. You can't be, there isn't anyone. And I accept I'm not better than him. I'm not ever going to be better than him at what he does. I'm good at what I do. And it goes back to the point of everyone wants to do everything. Yeah. People can't just accept, actually, do you know what? I'm very good at this, but I'm useless at this. Yeah. I'm quite good at saying, I'm useless at that, so I'm going to focus my attention on doing this. Yeah. We sort of split it out. He does the talking, he creates the hype, and I make sure there's something to hype about, I guess.
How involved would you be in negotiations with fighters, trying to make fights happen? That background work, how involved are you there?
Yeah, a lot. A lot of the time fighters want to speak to Eddie as well, because he's built this sort of aura around him that people want to work with him. So, but very much, most of the time, he will do the core terms of a deal, like 3 or 4 points. and then it will come down to about 300 other points. That then, I remember when we were making Anthony Joshua against Joseph Parker, I sat with Eddie and David Higgins in Eddie's office in Brentwood, and we went through 40 pages of a contract, like page by page, and the two of them, like, I'm quite detail orientated. Like, I love a spreadsheet. I'm boring. Our missus thinks I'm really boring, but I like making sure every detail's covered, and that's where I get more involved in the deals. And I work closely with DAZN as well, so talking to them 24/7 on a global scale with everything we're doing, and putting that deal together and that plan in place, for that move we made. So, it's a fun job. It's not, like I say, it's not a proper job. I'm very lucky to do what I do, and it's a lot of hard work, but I'm lucky that I get to do it.
That's class, man. Listen, Frank, thank you so much for talking to IrishBoxing.com. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for your time.